This is season 6. Is that right, Justin? 6?
Yes, sir. We're all the way in season 6.
Alright, season 6, ESR Academy in the GT3s this season. I'm Ayrton Tobin, joined with Cole McRae, and we have our fearless leader, Justin Swan, here.
Thank you.
Justin, you know this series because you set it up. We've got some weird rules this season. What's going on with it?
Well, as you guys know, the Academy series is kind of used as a test bed, since the most important thing is getting these guys some seat time, and the results aren't really the important thing. So we're trying a lot of new things. This season we have Success Ballast. We also have a Lap 1 live stewarding, which is something that I don't believe ESR has done before, at least not on ACC. Um, So for the ballast, every week there's going to be success ballast for first through third. First place gets 15, second place gets 10, and third place would get 5 kilograms of weight, and that will accumulate up to a certain amount during the season. I believe it's capped at 45. I could be wrong off the top of my head. And then we have returning veterans of the Academy with the silver number plates in this series. And they will be starting with a flat 50. And they will also earn success ballasts up to, I believe, 75. And so that way they can kind of fill the field out and give some good, close, consistent racing with a lot of the guys that are newer to the series. So you might think to yourself, it looks a little weird to see all these silver plates behind the AM plates, but that's just because it's early goings. And so, raw pace wise, these guys will have them in qualifying, but I think consistently race pace, we'll see a different story.
Yeah, that ballast is definitely taking effect.
Yeah, and then as for the live stewarding, something you guys haven't seen before. So for lap 1, I'm going to be in the driver's ears and coordinating the start. If there is an issue on the start where we have a huge parking lot, we will call a full course caution manually, which is something that hasn't been done before on ESR, to my knowledge, at least not on ACC. And with that, I'll be giving the drivers procedure to follow so that the cars involved in the accident can make it to pit lane. And then in doing so, that'll let them repair and get back into the race at, a reasonable time frame. That way they're not completely out of the race at the start, because for the Academy, it's important that these drivers get as much time on the track as possible racing each other. And it is expected that there will be more contact, although knock on wood, I know you've made many comments yourself, this series tends to be cleaner than the main series, so who knows? We might never see that rule come into effect.
Alrighty.
Well, I for one am excited to see how these changes affect the just the running order and the pace. Lots of I won't say wrenches, but lots of curveballs being thrown depending on how the season goes, and I think it'll make it exciting at the very least.
Gotta
I'm
keep them on
interested
their
to see.
toes.
Yeah, right. I'm interested to see how the lap 1 stewarding goes. That could be interesting. I pray that it's easy on you, but I have no doubt you'll do well.
I think it's manageable. It sounds more complicated than it is in practice. It's a matter of just getting the field to hold up, and as you would in a real life series, you just tell them, you bark orders at them, and they listen. If they don't listen, they get smacked. It's pretty simple. Pretty simple. Should be okay going forward. But
Makes
that's
sense.
the main things. Something different this season. Every season, I like to have a little spin on what cars are allowed and try to make it a little bit more unique to just a regular season where everybody drives everything, and also make it a little bit more manageable to be able to help them on a car by car basis. So this season is Germany versus Italy. So we've got we've got the Ferraris and the Lambos versus the AMGs and the Audis. It'll be a fun one.
I agree. That'll be interesting. I just noticed that there's the only front engine car is the Mercedes this time, so a little tidbit.
Yes, it is also the most gas-hungry car in the entire field by a long shot.
Really?
Oh,
Huh.
yeah. We actually, in our shakedown race, we had 3 drivers run out of fuel because they used more than 75 liters in a 40-minute stint.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's
There's
kinda crazy.
murmurs that it actually can't go a full 60 minutes on a 120-liter tank. So we'll see.
That's certainly possible. I guess we'll have to find out.
Yeah. Well, I
So-
have to. If you have any more questions, I've got just about 2 minutes here.
Okay, I was just gonna ask, are there any other format changes that maybe new viewers should know about?
Nothing too crazy. There's a second leg of the season that hasn't been announced yet, the track list and whatnot. So right now there's 5 announced dates. We're going to have the extra length finale to the SGTC, which will be an off week for this series to allow for that time slot to be larger. And then the week following that is Easter. So we're gonna have a couple weeks off, and during that few week off period, I'll announce the rest of the season. Keep everybody on their toes until then, and keep it kind of open to see what people really want to do as far as tracks and events go. And yeah, it technically, because it is Italy versus Germany manufacturers, there are 2 different teams here. Um, we have Jeff, who is one of the ESR Platinum drivers, taking the helm of the German team, of which he is. And we also have Demetrius, or is it Dimitri? Dimitri, sorry, Dimitri Simeonitis, taking the helm of the Italian team. Although he's Greek, so not quite,
Yeah, close
not
enough.
quite that national, but yeah, they borrowed a lot of things from each other.
Yeah. We'll just look the other way there.
Yeah, yeah. But I think it will make this is going to be a really interesting one. I'm really excited to see how it plays out, considering the field is actually flipped on its head. And now I'm wondering if 50 kgs was too much, although the shakedown race was a lot more even. So we'll see what happens. We'll adjust as we need to.
Yeah, like you said, it's a lot of testing and figuring out. This is a new thing. A lot of stuff is new, so I think we'll work it out pretty easily.
Alrighty, guys.
But anyway,
I
hop in
have to
that race
go.
car, Justin.
Well, not the race card. I gotta hop in the stewarding booth, get a different
That
hat on real
oh,
quick.
that's right.
But I'll be watching the broadcast and hope everything goes smooth and goes well. I'm excited to see how it goes. Thank you guys for covering it all.
No problem.
Alrighty. We'll talk to you later, Justin.
Excellent.
All right, so as we kind of wind down, we've got 35 seconds left in qualifying. Most of our drivers are still in the pits, or about half, I should say. So that's wrapping up. Legoshi, I've noticed, still out, as is Baker. So there's potential for some mix-ups. But like Justin was saying, it's kind of interesting that most of the returning veterans find themselves near mid backpack. I mean, it could because this is the first race of a new season, but it could also be that ballast. So I guess we'll have to iron that out as we get more into the season.
Okay, so qualifying's ending here. Anyone who's on their last lap will be able to complete it. Let's see if there's anyone. So Baker's still out there.
Yeah.
Let's see how he's running. Currently in second. Can he take the pole? It looks like he might. Is he off pace? No?
Yeah, Baker's
Okay,
a little off pace. Yeah,
He's
he
going
diving in.
pace.
Yeah, so that'll seal it. Legoshi has the pole for this first race of this new season. 158.452 with a handicap of 10 kilograms. So he's already got a little bit of ballast to overcome.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Barba has put in some good laps, and he is completing his last lap here. Well, let's go down this grid. What names do we have? Legoshi is new. Baker is new. Archie, Aldian, Parker.
Well, I mean, you can look at the new people by what color their number plate is. The red ones are new.
That's right. So we've got Silvestri, and he goes up to 5th. McLaughlin,
Marco
Nelson,
Silvestri.
Jones.
Nice.
Do we have the David squad here? Yes, James,
We do.
Nelson, Jones. We got all 3.
Yep. All 3 are here.
Hemian, Northrop, Foster, James. Yep. All back here.
Of note, Legoshi's registration name is the username is Puppy Squisher.
Yes, indeed.
Jesus. All right.
All right. Let's see if anyone else. Nope. Looks like that is it.
Yeah, so a quick ballast roundup, as Justin was kind of saying, there will be some interesting ballast rules taking effect. Currently, Legoshi's running with a 10-kilogram ballast, Archie with 15, Gianmarco Silvestri, one of our upperclassmen, with 55, the highest of the bunch. And then everyone else, the upperclassmen, is running with 50, and that's then no one else has any.
Alrighty. Got about another 40-minute race. No required pit stops. If you do, that probably means you messed up at some point. See all that ballast on there. Silvestri, who's carrying the highest ballast, actually is outperforming his other
Yeah.
ballasted mates.
Yeah, I made note of that. I wonder exactly what had to happen in order to get 55 before race 1, but I guess it was just qualifying results.
Yes, I think that's what that is. So Silverstone Academy has gone through a few seasons in ACC, and despite it being one of only a few default tracks, we have not been to Silverstone yet. In fact, even the GT Challenge season hasn't done much at Silverstone. Weird.
We have. I mean, we had race at season 2 and season 3. And actually, today, the race right after this will be at Silverstone as well. So it'll be an interesting transition for some of these drivers to go from Italy versus Germany in the academy to all full balls to the wall.
I mean, at least they can use the exact same car if they want.
Yeah. And that's kind of what one of the interesting things about this new season with the new car choices is that they, in the past, the first time in recent memory they used the Super Trofeos, which are just not comparable at all to the GT3s. Then we did Britain only, which was comparable, but you're limited in your car selection. And so this one we're branching out more, and lots of people use the Lamborghini and Mercedes in the GT series. Kind of interested they didn't allow Porsche, but I guess that makes sense. Then there'd be just too much. Likewise, I imagine all these Ferraris are the 2020 Evo variant.
I
Yes,
would
that is
certainly
confirmed.
hope so.
That is confirmed. So a brief rundown of our rookies. We got Richard Valentine in the number 888 488. We have Legoshi, also known as Puppy Squisher, in the 563 Lamborghini. We have Calculax, who is not here today, it seems. He's in the number 72 Ferrari.
That is Cliff Hemian.
Oh, then he is not a rookie at
Yes.
all. I don't know
Yes.
what is going on there. Arthur Bellotti in the number 93 Ferrari 488. David Brock in the 51 Ferrari 488. Takumi Parker in the 63 Lamborghini Huracan. Hip Hop Scotch, which I'm not seeing, number 27 Ferrari 488. Gobta, sorry, in the number 125 Audi. So that's Aldian. James Butler, is
Hip
that
hop
correct?
is Alex Skeen, currently in 17th.
I'm a little confused. Is James Butler? Oh, James Butler's doing this series. Oh, he's a veteran of our
He is.
past
He
ACC
is.
series.
We're labeling him as a guest. He's going to be running with some pretty heavy ballast. He has a lot of experience in speed, but there are a few things I guess he wants to work on, and so he is going to join us occasionally.
Likewise, Greg Perugini is appearing, but not today. The number 66 Audi, and that's pretty much it. We got Brandon Baker, the number 2 Mercedes, and well, I won't talk anymore.
Of note, it looks like we are doing a full pace lap.
Yeah, starting at the checkered line. So since I do have actually a little more time. Looks like
Interesting
JRG.
stuff already happening. Guys
Well,
out of position.
this is, I mean, what people might not expect is that the pace lap can actually, or the safety lap, or I guess it is pace lap, can be deceptively tough, especially for new drivers. Just all the different decorum and format you got to go through just to make this work out well. I mean, we'll put it this way: there's a reason why we're doing lap 1 stewarding, in person.
Yeah,
this year.
and I'm sure Justin is in there with them right now, telling them, "Hey, where people need to be. Are you doing single or double file? That can be a tricky. Just if the whole field isn't on the same page together." But it looks like he's got them sorted out single file.
It also doesn't seem to help that they appear to be wanting to warm their tires a little bit, which is not a bad idea normally, but maybe we would make a note about that in the future. Seems to be causing some angst in the back there. You can see.
Well, tire warming is extremely important in ACC.
Yes, it is, but in this case, I was saying that maybe you know, we should say, hey, okay, so take it a little bit easy on the first lap, or on the beginning of the pace lap at least. Whoa, okay, we had a Ferrari collide with an Audi, but we're incorporeal for the moment, so that's good. I mean, even a lot of upper tier drivers in the ACC Challenge series, GT Challenge, struggle with the pace lap sometimes. We've had to do restarts before, so, or not restarts, but a little bit of shenanigans to get everything to line up perfectly.
Alright, we go halfway. Oh no.
Yep. See, it's deceptively challenging. That is Shaina, one of our new drivers in the number 27 Ferrari, out on the back.
Yeah, he's not even supposed to be in the back.
So they're coming through the loop. The last few corners, they should be doubling
They
up, I
should.
believe.
They've still got about a third of the track to go. Yeah. Oh boy. Guys are going way out wide. Did we lose a Ferrari? Nope, there he is. I think that's Nelson.
I'm kind of surprised they're doing a full safety lap or pace lap, but I guess it makes sense trying to get him exposed to all aspects of the race.
No, that was Silvestri.
Okay, last
Yeah.
corner, left field and then Woodcut, and
Alright, guys, bunch up.
yeah, it's deceptive. It's like the second row is getting a little hesitant.
You know what? I think that was pretty decent, all things told. Second row could definitely get up a bit further. See if they do. Although at this
And
point, you're
the
really at the
first two are
mercy.
crossing the line right now.
Looks good.
The race is going to start. Okay, there we go. There we go. 40 minutes of Silverstone underway. I don't know what's up with that timing there, but it doesn't really matter, I suppose.
Alrighty, first two going into the S's side by side. No, it looks like that's actually Baker gonna take over the lead from Legoshi. Anything happen in the back?
Looks like 7 spun. That
Oh,
is
goodness.
Josh McLaughlin, our veteran from last season. And
Oh,
we have
no.
a pile up into Beckett's. We got the number 33, the number 888, and the number 74 all involved.
Yeah, there was some stuff back here. So James Butler is far in the back.
Well, he was involved with that accident, number 74.
See if we can catch what was going on.
So there's a big pile up into Beckett's. Looks like that's James Butler's car. He was definitely involved. So Legoshi is pulling away. Or no, sorry, Bart Baker is pulling away. But Legoshi isn't letting him get too far ahead. Oh, never mind. As I say that, he butchers this corner. I think that's the loop, if I'm not mistaken. And Archie is now, meanwhile, getting some ground for himself. The top 5, I believe, that looks like the top 5 are pulling away, but the rest is still pretty packed up. There's a big stack as they enter the Aintree region. One thing that's always been interesting about the Academy is that the drivers seem to be the most motivated out of pretty much any that I've seen in the ESR. I mean, I was seeing them practicing basically all week in the run up to this race, and I mean it's inspiring in many ways, because you can see that it's really paying dividends. We got some good racing going on.
Looks like we've got some close action in the back. Well.
Oh, we got another pileup into Cops. Oh no, and Lugosi goes off. Lugosi loses it in Beckett's. Oh no, falling back to 4th, then to 5th. And Parker might take 6th. Ooh, good rejoin though. Simultaneously, we had a little off in Maggots. It looked like that was the 488 of David Nelson spinning into Maggots. So a damn shame. but we are starting to see that spread happen. Inu Lugoshi now doing battle with, I believe that's Takumi Parker, if I remember correctly, who is also on the tail of, I can remember these names, Arthur Bellotti. That's right. Oh, the number 1 card of Archie is off. They think that's Abby. Sorry, I don't know. I don't know the corners of Silverstone that well. I have a little map up, but I'm having to translate. Lugosi goes around the inside of Parker and has a look around Bellotti, but it's not gonna connect, and that was probably smart. Didn't quite have the reach to make that happen. As Justin mentioned, Lugosi is a very competent single lap driver. We'll have to see how that stacks up when trying to claw his way back up through the field.
Definitely. Dug himself in a real hole now.
Looks like the number 52 of Gianmarco Silvestri has gone around, putting him in 18th place.
Oh, something's wide. I think that's Sheen, who has actually gotten up to 10th from starting 17th.
With Hemian?
Nah, the number 27. He was in 10th. He went wide, went back.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'm looking at a different timing sheet. Apologies. Meanwhile, Lugosi seems to be struggling with.
Oh no, Hemian is going wide.
33 and the
lost
27 are
position.
off. Is that Josh McLaughlin again? No, it's China.
Oh, we've got people off all through there.
So Barbara and
Hemian.
China collided.
Oh, and McLaughlin goes around Hemian. Oh, and Hemian drifts a little wide and actually ends up taking him out. Unfortunate. Let's see if we can get a little replay of that. Yep.
It looked pretty clear to me. Yep. Got a little too close.
Alright, looks like McLaughlin only lost a position though.
Those McLaughlin and Valentine coming together, it looks like.
Bellotti right up here with Lugosi.
That's actually Takumi Parker, I believe. So Lugosi got around. So Lugosi got around Bellotti and Parker, but Parker must have lost it, or Bellotti must have lost it somewhere because he was ahead of Parker and Lugosi both.
Yeah, both those Lamborghini drivers looking pretty fast.
Meanwhile, the two top veterans, David Jones and Jake Northrup, are working their way up. Jones is now up to 6th, and now is tracking down Bellotti. John Archie behind is maintaining pace, though. Still losing a little bit, but able to make his way. So we can see that Parker is getting actually tracked down a little bit by Bellotti. I'll figure it out at some point. Looks like he had an opportunity to pass a couple of turns ago, but I just now tuned into that part, so I could be wrong.
Bellotti diving deep.
That looked like maybe a little bit of outbraking there.
Alright.
As they come into Aintree.
Lugosi is starting to inch away.
Lining up for the Wellington Straight. Just behind a battle is still with forming with Northrup and Archie. Archie is Well, no other way to put it. And he dives on the inside. Very clean pass. Very nice. As they line up for Brooklyn's. So Archie up to 7th place.
David James here under fire from Gianmarco Silvestri, who is so far back in the field, given his pace.
Yeah, well, that first lap accident series kind of cascaded hard, and it all aligned to take out Gianmarco.
So yeah, we've got some fast guys in the back. Laughlin, Hemian, Silvestri, Barba, all capable of running near the top 5.
Oh, we got a car going off. That's the number 1 of Archie. So Archie went off.
Oh, and Silvestri swings way wide there.
So Archie conceding the spot in, wait, what? To Northrop. There we go. Meanwhile, our veterans from that are now reuniting, James Butler and Larry Foster, are doing battle. Are you aware of any of the livery rules? Are they allowed to use custom liveries, or are these just all
These
default?
are all official.
Oh, and there's a really big fight between Barba, Silvestri, and James. We're now going into the Hamilton Straight. Ooh. Ooh, that was not good. Barba goes to the inside. How he rejoins will kind of determine how he works out. Whoa! Okay, carries a little too much speed there, no
in that
problem.
Audi.
I mean, yeah, someone should tell him that the Quattro badge doesn't actually apply here. This allows David James a little bit of breathing room, but not much. Rapidly catching up to Richard Valentine in that Ferrari 488. But after that, it's going to be a huge pileup between Hemian and McLaughlin and Nelson as well. Actually, correction, Nelson is a little too far forward, but...
We are 1/4 of the way into this race, and it is exciting. So Baker still holds on to the lead that he took over right at the first turn. Albion left in the second, and Legoshi is, yep, so he's back up in the third, and looks like he's really tracking down those leaders right now.
Yeah, it seems so. We've had drivers exhibit similar tendencies. Funny enough, using the same car too. Rachel Guerin was very strong in our a couple of seasons ago, and we could draw many parallels here. But I hope Legoshi is able to sort of rein them in, but not get too aggressive. That's a common pitfall. Meanwhile, the group of James, Silvestri, and Valentine, or not Valentine, Barba, are tracking down Valentine in spite of doing battle with each other. James is under fire from Silvestri, who dives a little bit, but he has to slow down, which makes Barba go for a little lunge, who also pulls out.
These three just cannot get away from each other.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting. In spite of the battle they're doing, they are not. They're still gaining time on Valentine ahead. So this could be very much a Looney Tunes snowball effect going
these
on.
three are three of our fastest. If they were just race single file, they should be tearing their way up through the field.
Whoa,
but slowing each other down with moves like that.
That was hairy. Oh my gosh, I had a heart attack. I mean, it worked. It was a little reckless, but it worked. I think Silvestri's a little shocked. He's sitting back there. He's taking a breather. He's like, "What's this happening?"
Get a quick replay of this.
That was hairy. Oh no, David Nelson spins in turn 1.
So this was James in front of Silvestri and Barba. Barber look down the inside, which you can tell is already just gonna end great. Oh, and they both
That was bold.
split
Oh
him,
my god.
and I want to say, yep, James holds on to his position. In fact, they all maintain position there.
Well, no, Barber's in the second of the group now.
Yeah.
Although he just spun. Barber just
Oh
spun
no, yes.
off into Beckett's.
Meanwhile, Nelson and Valentine look like they're fighting for position going into the turn up ahead of this group.
Yeah, Nelson just spun into Cops before Valentine caught up with him, so he's not in a great position.
Oh man, Silvestri is just swinging wide around every turn.
I kind of wonder if James. I mean, it was totally conceivable that James would have hugged the inside corner of Brooklyn's better than he did, and if that didn't happen, man, Barber would have been in a world of hurt. I think it would have been a nasty accident.
Oh,
Oh no!
speaking of nasty accidents, that was Nelson, I want to say, who went around.
Yep, that's
No.
Nelson who spun.
Oh no.
Oh, tragic accident for our.
It's tagged by two drivers. It's interesting to see if they took much damage from that.
That looked nasty on Nelson's part. I would be shocked if he didn't have some pretty severe damage. Kind of, I was looking at James specifically. I didn't notice that Nelson had spun. Any chance we could maybe look at what happened there? I mean, I posit that he just went wide into Abby, but that's alright.
Where is Nelson?
Meanwhile, Lugosi has caught his way up to Aldian, and they are now within a second of each other, within half a second even.
Alright, so this... Oh, looks like we just missed it. But we will get to see what happened as he rejoined.
David Nelson is pitting, so confirmed he did take damage and is now attempting to repair it.
Nope, that was after.
What?
I tried to watch the replay, but it only
Oh.
caught us afterwards.
Okay, I thought you were saying, no, he's pitting after he took damage. I'm like, yeah. Nagoshi is now side by side with Aldian, going around the outside of the loop. That's going to be a tough spot because that's a double left-hander, so being on the outside of that is dangerous, and sure enough, Aldian takes it back. Meanwhile, Silvestri and Valentine are hot on each other's collars. Oh, wow, Parker goes for a lunge on Lagasse. Aldian outbreaks himself, allowing Parker and Lagasse by. So Gene Aldian, excuse me, is now down to 4th place. Lagasse taking the position, and Parker following suit behind. But Lugosi still has almost 12 seconds to go in front of him, but it's not inconceivable. We do have over half a race left. David Nelson emerges from the pits. A veritable firestorm of Archie Jones and Northrup. Oh wow! When he comes out, he's holding up Archie or Jones and Northrup. And Archie is slipping away into the distance. Meanwhile, Aldian is now under fire from Bellotti. Looks like he was having just some, I don't know what, some kind of issues or something. Ooh, going wide again into this time into Club. Very defensive lines thwarting Bellotti at every turn, but it is causing them to fall even further behind Parker and Lugosi ahead. Meanwhile, Silvestri and Valentine are side by side. Ooh. Valentine hazards a guess around Stowe, but it's not going to happen. And David Nelson spins again, entering Abbey again. That turn is just a nightmare for him today. Luckily, he avoids damage this time, but he's got a hairy rejoin as Josh McLaughlin and Cliff Hemian come up behind.
That should be a fun fight to watch, those two.
It's squirrely, we'll put it that way. Nelson has a distinct advantage, having just overheated his tires and dirtied them. I'm kind of surprised he's putting up as much of a fight as he is, but sure enough, they get by without too much trouble.
Oh, McLaughlin overcooks it on the entry a bit, goes wide,
Yep.
and like Hemian's gonna get by.
Yep, that much is certain. Nelson almost had a look, but backed out. I would be very surprised if his tires weren't begging for relief right now.
Riding on board with Legoshi, who only has half a second over Parker now, looking back.
Well, he hasn't gotten away from Parker too much in the last couple of laps.
He was up a full second, so something happened to cut that down in half.
Meanwhile, there's dual battles between Legoshi, Parker, Aldean, and Bilotti still up in front as Shina goes around in left field corner.
Parker taking a real wide line. That tight left-hander, and it looks like it did not pay off.
Yeah, it seems not.
See if anything happens between the two behind them going into this turn.
So Aldean and Bilotti have had pretty similar driving styles this race so far as we enter the halfway point. But it seems to me whether one is better than the other depends largely just on with the corner. And that may well be down to the way the cars handle. As a driver of the Audi myself, it is it's pretty squirrely. I've never done. Oh, as he goes sideways into turn one, that was a nice recovery. Fantastic recovery from Aldean, but it allows Bilotti to get even closer.
Well, as we cross halfway, and these drivers look pretty set in their positions for the moment, good time to go over a couple profiles here. Put out a call to the drivers this season, say, hey, tell us a little about yourself so we know more about who we're watching here, as it looks like Bilotti is going to make a move going in. Look to the inside.
I was going to say, as you
then
mentioned, that
the outside.
They look a little bit set.
Let's see, okay. He's held off for the moment. We'll keep the cam here on Bilotti, but... So we gave the drivers a chance to talk a little bit, tell them about ourselves. Let's start here with Dave Jones, who is currently running in, where is he?
7th place.
Yes,
7th
place. Like we've got Dave Jones, as you can see there, in the number 31. Dave Jones, where is he from? He is from, now I'm going to butcher the name, Leicestershire? He says it pronounced, yeah, Leicestershire in the UK. How long has Dave Jones been in sim racing? Well, 6 months only of sim racing with 30 plus years of games like Outrun and Gran Turismo, so a lot of experience there on racing in general, but as far as at-the-wheel sim racing, just the last 6 months, so pretty new here. He says what got him into sim racing? COVID. COVID brought in many people.
That's
like
a huge.
Got another one here.
That's not a uncommon story, I think.
As a Bilotti maintains his pursuit. In
fact,
fact,
Aldean goes off, breaks wide into Brooklyn's corner.
Not devastating, but he is going to lose one position there. Let's get over this real quick.
Well, now people are definitely set in their ways, I think.
Yes.
Great time
so
for that driver.
we asked Dave Jones here, what's been your favorite car to drive so far? And he says it's, well, since he's only been doing a little bit of sim racing, mostly in the academy, it's been an ACC, the Audi R8 GT3 Evo. Is that the car he's in today?
Yeah, it is.
No, yes, it is, actually. It's right there. He's rocking that gorgeous black and red livery in the 31. And so we asked him, what are your goals for this season? You know, I was looking to see, is this a points finish, just some sort of skill? And he says he's looking for clean, consistent laps and an improved pace. That's definitely something a lot of drivers are looking for here. Just keeping it clean. As we saw, he had some good pace last season. And
Well-
when we asked if there's anything else he wants to add, just that he's loving this academy concept here and is looking forward to his second season. Love the first.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Like, I mean, I've said it a million times before, but my favorite part of the Academy, and something that makes it probably one of my favorite series that we do, is just the dynamicism and the growth that you see in the drivers throughout their career. It's almost sad when they leave, pursue bigger and better things, because you kind of get to know their styles, and it becomes exciting to see how they evolve. Ooh, as 563 comes back on, that's Legoshi. So Legoshi spun
Oh
and is
no.
now being passed by Bilotti and Aldian as well. So that was, I wish I was paying more attention to that, but I noticed it on the track map. But anyway, yeah. So having them evolve and obviously improve their racecraft is so cool for me, and it's good to hear that they likewise are feeling similarly.
No, that is Jones. Gonna see if we can get a replay of what happened to Legoshi. Just after he went off. Looks like he
So it
just
looks,
ran wide through there.
yeah, it looks like he just overcooked it a little bit. Doesn't seem to be too much other than that. That throws another metaphorical wrench in Legoshi's plans of tracking down Baker. Although Parker has tracked down Baker a little bit himself, down from over 14 seconds to less than 10. So there might have been a spin or something on Baker's part. Or it's possible he could just be relaxing.
So Legoshi's, yep, once again right up on the tail of Aldian. Given the pace difference we've seen, you would expect Legoshi to get this back.
Well, as I kind of theorized earlier, I mean, it could have been coincidence, but he's got that pace, that pace, as Justin said, but it's important to always recognize when to take a breath and be like, okay, just maybe relax a little bit. There's no need to push super hard all the time. I mean, obviously you want to do that, but could become hazardous sometimes.
Barbie here.
Barb and Valentine. Both, I wouldn't call them wild cards, but they make some interesting maneuvers that are definitely fun to watch.
Well, while we were watching Bilotti, who is right up ahead of this group, let's bring him in for our second profile of the day. As, yeah, we did get to hear from him, so let's take a look. As you can see, he is in that Sky Tempesta number 93 Ferrari. He's a rookie, and so to start with Bilotti, where are you from? Actually, Brazil, hailing in from South America. How long has Bilotti been in sim racing? It says about 9 months.
Another COVID entrant, I assume.
Most likely. In fact, we asked what got him into sim racing or motorsports in general, and he says it all began as a child, fascinated by cars in general. It grew, and since I don't have the money to race in real life, speaking for most of us, but the excitement of the moments just before the green lights, knowing that you are racing with real people that are crazy about racing just like you, the adrenaline, it's crazy good. So, very much into racing, which drew him to sim racing.
I'll toast to that, Mr. Bilotti.
Trouble here. What's been your favorite car to drive so far, Bilotti? The 488 Evo. I love how the Bentley looks, and I'm a bit of a Honda fanboy though, so I might change cars in the future. Good job though sticking with that 488. And what are your goals for this season? Mostly consistency in racecraft, also being able to do some close racing without killing other people. Solid goal there.
That's a really good goal. I like that.
Finishing in the top half, let alone the top 5, which is, yeah, where you're looking right now, would be really cool. A podium, maybe. Gotta earn that ballast. So, you know what? He's cracking all his goals right now. Sitting in 3rd place.
Yeah,
and
doing very well.
Finally, asked him if there's anything else he wanted to tell us. He said, though he's only started sim racing last year, he has enjoyed a lot of Need for Speed, like Porsche Unleashed and High Stakes.
Heck yeah.
On the
High
PlayStation
Stakes.
1 and Gran Turismo PSP. Never had a wheel until this last year, though. So, sounds like he's had a lot of fun with these other games, and love seeing him up here in 3rd place at the moment.
Heck yeah, Need for Speed High Stakes. Mr. Bellotti, have you unlocked the police helicopter as a drivable car? Those are fun. Definitely my favorite. Yeah, and similarly to similar to Jones, it's all about the camaraderie, right? It's all about getting to know people and helping each other grow. We have some fantastic coaches and instructors, but it's just as important to learn to
Well,
get
hold on.
along with and manage.
I hear Matt Higgs has lent his hand a couple times with instructing, so don't give him
Okay,
too
so
much praise.
maybe they're letting the standards slip a little bit,
I
but that
can
happens.
tell you, I don't know who coached them on the formation lap, but it definitely wasn't Matt. Because they
Yeah,
kept that
right.
clean.
They survived. No kidding. But yeah, anyway, so getting to manage your racecraft, and it looks like Legoshi had a look around the inside of Aldian, but got a little bit on the friggin' curb and got sideways. Good recovery though. Sorry, I made a little bit dramatic. Oh, and David Nelson spun again into left
Ooh,
field corner.
rough day for
Well,
David.
it has been a rough day. But
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. So
okay, hold 1 second. I'll save David's full interview for a later profile in a week or so. But I'll tell you, one of the goals he stated was he's been consistent. He wants to push for speed. All right, David, you're pushing. We
yeah,
can
yeah.
see that.
He's doing it. You're doing it.
Smashing that goal today. Who needs consistency?
Well, and that summary kind of, it mirrors a lot of our observations
Mhm.
on, David, but also other drivers. I'm a huge David Nelson fan, by the way.
Yeah, frankly, that's really the split. Actually, among the rookies, a lot of them are looking for consistency, whereas a lot of the drivers you see highlighted in silver who aren't rookies, they've
Whoa!
got that consistency in recent years, and now they're just looking to maybe push the boundaries and find some new speed.
Speaking of, Legoshi just had an almost with Aldi in there.
Oh yeah,
That could have been really bad.
Dave
but
Jones is under some heavy fire from Jake Northrup back in 7th.
yeah, so isn't that where they started this race? Didn't they start in 6th and 7th or something like that?
Something like that.
So they haven't made any real room of which to speak. James Butler following directly behind. Deceptive in that red number plate, though he
All
is
these
a
fights are
veteran of our
starting to tighten
series.
up,
Yeah.
except for the lead. Baker is clear.
Yeah, so he's opened up back to 12.5 seconds. So yeah, he did something right.
In fact, all the top 4, or I should say the top 3, are pretty well spaced out, which I'm sure they are loving.
So this fight between Aldi and Legoshi is well, it's been interesting, we'll say. I hope they can find a way to resolve their dispute amicably. One thing that it's kind of been the struggle of the academy is to manage expectations. Legoshi goes around the inside again, the same corner, club corner. No, it's not club. Apologies. I think that's Stowe. But tries to go around the inside, has at the exact same time a corner incident and spins. The Legoshi.
Watching a replay of it right here. Let's see what happens.
Yes, so you see on this next right-hand turn, he'll try to cut the inside, and he'll get on 2 wheels on the inside curb, right here,
Oh,
and
okay.
just spins it. He did that exact same thing last lap. That puts him behind Archie.
Rough.
But it's as I was gonna say, like there's something that we should maybe stress, and I don't want to speak for you or Justin if it's not correct. So feel free to correct me. But I feel like managing expectations, obviously as an academy series, we're all trying to learn. We're trying to learn. And while it's easy to get swept up in it and say, okay, yeah, I want to be first place. It's not as much about that. Obviously, the competition is something that's worthwhile pursuing, but to figure out what you could improve on, how you are already, don't need improvement. That's really the goal, I think. Now Cliff Hemian dives to the inside of Larry Foster. Larry Foster gets a little unsteady, almost spins, but manages to save it, and Cliff Hemian to 10th place.
Let's ride on board here with Butler right behind the fight of Jones and Northrop. See what his view's like. That's going to be pretty exciting.
Getting really close to Jones, or to Northrop. They're trading lane positions. This is a really popular dive zone. Surprisingly, at Stowe
everyone's going wide there, except for Butler, who actually kept it online.
Very interesting strategies from these drivers.
Yes, the stewards seem to be very.
Whoa!
Someone has spun up ahead. That's Sheen, I believe.
Yep, that's China.
But I see the stewards are very relaxed with, running wide today.
Yeah, I'd be kind of surprised if they were too anal about it.
This is why I prefer the older layouts of this track. No runoffs at all, just a thin curb and then a bunch of dirt and grass. Okay.
So
great shot here of Northrop trying to eke his way around Jones.
See, those corners are deceptive. Those switchbacks can look like a good passing opportunity when maybe they're not. As you can see, Northrop
is he gonna look at the inside? Surely he is.
Northrop lost a bunch of time, and Butler dives to the inside.
Nice
pretty
braking.
hot, but is able to wrangle it. And there you can see a classic example of just waiting for your opponent to make a mistake and then capitalizing on it. Butler going to the inside of Northrop as well as they approach the start-finish line. Takes it. The next corner is also a right-hander. So he's still on the inside. This could be what Butler needs to secure his lead there.
He's gonna muscle his way through. Northrop.
Yep. Northrop makes an interesting dive, and yep, that's it.
All right.
Butler in 7th, up to Lugosi. The gap is 4 seconds. I mean, that was really textbook. There's no really other way to describe it. It was just apply pressure, wait for opponent to crack, and crack they did. Very nice move from Butler. It is worth noting that Butler, as we mentioned earlier, does not have any ballast, whereas his contemporaries Jones and Northrop do have 50 kilograms each. But regardless, that was a move worth applauding, I think. Looking up a little bit.
Archie is really our closest fight at the moment in 5th, behind Aldian in 4th.
Exactly, as I was going to mention, Aldian and Archie, the battle is pretty good. Looking back, Larry Foster and Josh McLaughlin are also trading blows. Not as close as Aldian and Archie, who are side by side. Ooh, and Aldian goes wide. I've seen a lot of drivers do that recently around, I believe that's Brooklands. It's been a really popular place to go wide.
I imagine that has something to do with it being round 1. Everyone's, racing with new guys for the first time. I'm sure Justin has pounded into their heads, being very respectful of each other's lines. So when you've got a guy inside you, it's only natural in that position to drift way out there, not necessarily trusting the guy.
Yeah.
I'm sure as we get later into the season, like we saw in past seasons, as they race each other week after week, we'll start to see them get a little more daring and pinning the other one low. So they're certainly being nice and respectful today, giving each other lots of room.
Yeah, that's certainly possible. I was going to theorize that it was because they're after that long Wellington straight, but what you said actually does make more sense.
Well, we'll roll with that anyways, give them the benefit of the doubt, and say they're doing it on purpose.
Hey, all they got to do is prove it right next week, or 2 weeks from now.
So Butler got by these two and is starting to eke away. Meanwhile, Northrop and who's that, Jones?
Yep.
They pick up the fight where they left off, just having let Butler go by.
Yeah, so McLaughlin, Silvestri, and Barba are approaching each other in the background, but that's they're not close enough to warrant a fight yet.
And we should have 2 laps, maybe 1 lap, depending where the leader is.
The leader is just now passing the finish line. Next lap will be our last lap.
Yeah, we'll see. Lap times have been
2 minutes near enough.
yeah. Leader's last lap was just over 2 minutes, so yeah, this may end up being the last.
I believe this will be our last lap.
The
He
leader
crossed
certainly
the line at 1:57.
Okay.
So unless
And
he
he has
has the
13
lap of a
seconds to
century.
play with, so he could certainly let off and make this the last lap if he wanted.
So for Northrop and Jones, they're starting to apply pressure again to James Butler. They kind of clawed him back a little bit over the last lap. And by last I mean previous.
Going through his last lap, Larry Foster. He's got one more chance here at Hemian. Oh,
Excuse me. Barb and Valentine are really on each other. Barbara's going for another dive into Brooklyn's. Oh, gets tapped by Valentine. Again, another tap. Valentine goes spinning. Barbara does too. They both spin. And it looks like they even out about where they started. Sorry, that was Silvestri. Silvestri, not Valentine. Apologies. I saw 2 Ferraris next to each other. It worked out about as well as you
back at
expect.
Northrop, who is right on the tail of Jones. These guys have been together this whole time.
Yeah.
And Jones has held that position. Let's see if he can do it for the rest of the lap.
You can see it getting a little hot under the collar as Northrop desperately tries to make an opening of some sort. Baker, meanwhile, is just on the final straight.
As we sit here and watch Northrop, I, right in this moment, get an announcement that Jake Northrop donated to ESR, so thank you, Jake.
And checkered flag. Baker's crossed the finish line.
Oh, Northrop, looking up the inside, had the door shut on him, though. Instead of forcing it, he does hold position. Got about half a lap to go.
Meanwhile, Parker and Bellotti go across the finish line nearly side by side.
All eyes on Northrop. He's got about 3 turns left, although he's a little ways back now. Unless Jones makes some real mistake, I don't see Northrop getting through.
Yeah, it had to be pretty dastardly in order to make him move that long way. No, I don't think so.
Nope. So, Jones does a great job of defending today. Will hold on to 8th place.
Silvestri goes sliding right before Wellington Straight, conceding the position to Barba. But Barba is going to steal 13th place from Silvestri.
Been, I'm sure, frustrating day for Sylvester, who dropped back at the start and had so much pace and pizzazz in his car, but just, well, got a little too feisty at times and never really got it pointed the right direction.
Meanwhile, David Nelson has stolen 17th from China.
Yeah, going into the last lap, those guys were actually racing for position.
And our last car on track, Valentine, crosses the finish line in 15th place.
Yes, indeed. So, dominant win for Baker. Almost flag to flag. He did not quite start on pole, but as they went through turn 1, he took the lead. Never looked back from there. Parker, I don't think we mentioned once. Sorry, Takumi. We didn't say much.
I mentioned.
Oh no,
I
that's right.
mentioned
He
you,
was in
Mr.
that
Parker.
Lamborghini. He had a nice little fight holding off Legoshi there, and
I remember
came out
you.
on top. And then Bellotti, who wanted a podium. Actually, he just wanted to be in like the top half of the field, but would be elated to get a podium. There he goes, 3rd place.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Very well.
Archie and Aldi on 4th and 5th, both of them. It's not like they had quiet days. They were in fights the whole day, so nice job, winning those fights and holding on to some top 5s. And we've got our
Legoshi.
Yeah, our sharper edge driver of the day, Legoshi, who has got a lot of speed. I'm sure we'll look forward to seeing him getting a win this season if he can, really hone in on that and be a little more consistent.
We might be having a Rachel Guerin, David Nelson scenario. Can we
Yes,
see? So
indeed.
if Baker keeps getting these first places, but Legoshi improves his consistency, maybe he could have a battle like we had a couple seasons ago.
Definitely. Rounding out the top 10 behind him is Butler ahead of Jones and Northrup. We saw Butler get by those two.
Great pass.
And then Hemian just ahead of Foster. And then you start getting down to the guys who qualified well, had trouble at the start, and never were able to work their way up, of McLaughlin, Barber, Silvestri, and then Valentine, who struggled a bit, but hey, finished ahead of 3 guys, so that's good. Then you got James, who he definitely had some issues throughout the day. Same with Nelson and Sheen.
Yeah, is it Sheen? I thought it was Shina, but it could be Sheen.
Justin messaged me that he believes it's Sheen.
Oh, apologies. I've been mispronouncing it this entire race.
I'm
But yeah,
supposed we'll find out after this broadcast.
Yeah, those
that goes to
bottom.
all of you listening. If you say your name wrong, shoot us a message and tell us how to do it.
Yeah, so those bottom 4, they kind of had rough races there. Just got unlucky sometimes, but that's the way it goes.
So in the end, all
It
of
doesn't even
our
matter.
veterans of the academy who have ballasts, yeah, no one on the side of the top 7, so that ballast did hold them back a little bit. Interesting to see if they can, overcome that later in the season.
Definitely.
Certainly, I would start expecting some of the others to pick up ballast. I don't know if so they started with 50. I don't know if they're going to be picking up too much more.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna have to, because if you finish first through third or whatever, you get ballast, right?
Yeah. So naturally, we're gonna start seeing those guys without ballast. They'll be picking up ballast and bring it back.
When are we gonna change it to when is the ballast gonna be not in weight on the car, but shots you have to take before doing the race?
That is the Wreckfest series.
Every the Wreckfest series. We should do Wreckfest series. Okay.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we should. All right. Well, that was
so
a lot
next
of
race is
fun.
at Misano.
Misano. Okay. Still haven't driven it, but it's a fun one to watch. Some cool turns there.
Definitely March 7th, so 1 week from today.
Today. That's round 2, followed by Paul Ricard. Haven't been there yet in the academy. Nürburgring GP. That was a real firecracker season finale the last time we went there.
Oh yeah, it was.
And Zolder, which Zolder is always a bit of a messy race. And then we have a break for Easter, a break for the Sunday GT Challenge, which is coming. That series is coming up right after this over on the ESR YouTube channel. And then it's to be announced after that. But Zolder will not be the final round.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, indeed.
All
well,
right, very cool. Glad we
like
were able to see that this new class kick off this race at Silverstone.
Yeah,
Very
looks like
exciting.
it's going to be a great season. I'm really excited to see these GT3s out here. Got some cool cars this time.
Yeah, then actually, I out of the I haven't been around for a ton of academies, but it seems like we have the best adjusted field, like rookie field of our ACC group so far. Like they're relatively little drama as going, as far as racecraft goes. So, props to you guys.
Well, this does show us that among our silver veteran drivers, Dave Jones took the win there. We're not technically scoring that separately, but this is the Ayrton Cup over here, where we're going to look at them. We've got Dave Jones, Jake Northrup, and Cliff Hemian on the podium. And meanwhile, you've got David Nelson over there, who is... I think today was him trying to get negative ballasts to take away all that ballast, if that's the thing. Just, make sure the competition lets down their guard a little.
Well, I guess we'll see next week.
Indeed. Okay, well, that is it. You have anything else to say?
I got nothing. I can't wait for next week, and can't wait to get the season underway. Hopefully, we get to see just as much evolution as we have in the past. Can't wait.
Okay, folks, we will see you once again. That is going to be next Sunday. Qualifying starts at, that is 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific. usually put up the stream about midway into that, so you can expect it around 2 to 2:30. Race does start at 2:30. No, 2:15. So, in that case, we will see you then. Take care and stop by ESR for all of our other series.
ESR-race.org.
Yep.